What is Moos to you?
It's its own little universe that has all. It also has maybe some specific laws to that universe. There's these interacting species, different planets, little worlds. Yeah.
And like, what's your place in all of that?
My official place is supporting the growth of the Neubau. So that's really what I'm here for. But then most of the time I end up, as one does at most, sort of integrated in many little aspects. And I think if you are flexible enough, you can fill more like different cracks that maybe need
right
or supporting or things or here and there. And
so what are some of the cracks or projects that you're touching here?
Yeah, I mean, also to help, we did a few workshops, also with this notion of people making their own furniture. So there you have like some building skills coming in to play, like to help people understand materials. Also, then for later, for whenever they want to work with things, it's a great. Just to go for it and like have those moments.
And that's you give those workshops, like you're showing people how to build like a chair or a table or something.
For instance, yeah.
Cool. What else?
What else? Also a bit infrastructure-wise, like I want to set up this. We got our hands on a kiln. I think we just have to go pick it up or arrange a pickup, but that would be really nice to have like a place to fire stuff and to, and then I would sort of take care of that. I would make sure because it's something that can. It's a lot of electricity. It's a lot of. It could cause a fire. It's something that you gotta.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, these are sort of, I guess, more major projects, but like I imagine there's also like lots of small things that you're doing here and there, like for someone who's maybe seen you around but they don't quite understand, like can you give some more detail about what these smaller things are?
Well, I do some exchange work stuff, like I fixed a couple of bikes.
Bike fixing, I just heard about that yesterday.
So that's something to trade off work between fellow.
So this is like you fix somebody's bike and then what happens?
Maybe they fix my back,
Okay, nice. Bike for back.
Bike for back.
Nice. Do you have any I'm guessing a lot of this is like collaborative, but like any kind of specific collaborations with other people here? Either as a in residency or in the most extended community.
I mean, well, with Joe, whose room you're staying in at the moment, her and I do a lot of projects together.
Such as?
Such as this desert project in Poland, the Oasis, the Leos Labs project, and that's going to happen in July, and that'll be a whole month in the desert.
If I understand correctly, you will have 3 different phases, and one phase people come and build the stuff.
Yeah.
Another phase people will do some other thing, and then another phase people actually live in the thing and then try to live in the desert or create stuff in that environment. Yeah. People coming from all over the world to stay in this desert in Poland.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on co-living?
Co-living. Many thoughts on co-living.
Drop it.
I was thinking about how I would love to write some manuals but also for like the different co-living, co-living here is different than in the desert. So there's like different things that are becoming more important than other things. Like the desert, it's like better make sure there's water. Like that's like And here it's like, make sure the water's not all over the counter, but there, if there's water all over something in the desert, it doesn't matter so much, I think. But,
I think one thing you mentioned was like the cleaning of the dishes, for example, has to be a lot more strict in the desert, because if you don't do it, like stuff can become poisonous, or you can get sick really easily.
Yeah, some people get food poisoning quicker than others, or their gut can't handle some bacteria as much as other people can, and some people are used to it, and then some people get sick quickly, like with non-hygienic situations.
So let's say co-living here now.
Co-living here.
More,
here. Like awareness, like.
About what, Travis?
I was talking with Max about maybe making some comical videos. Like, he was totally down for it. Like, we're like, oh, and like, what do I do now, Max? Like, yeah, you could put that into this receptacle. It's like, should I wash it first or leave all this food all over? Like, I don't know. It's gonna start smelling like rotting something. That's a good idea, Trev. Thanks, Max.
One of those.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just gonna live in my mind for forever, but it's yeah.
But what do you think the challenge is exactly? Like, just people don't have time, or you think they just don't care, or like they don't know, or what's the thing that you think needs to be addressed or improved on? Or?
I guess the younger, more close-minded me would say that they just don't care, and like, and then I don't know. I guess it gets trickier then, because I feel sometimes that it's not about caring, but it's somehow about just like seeing it, or like what it looked like.
Well, the first word you said was awareness.
Yeah, kind of awareness of like what it is. And so for the Neubau, for instance, there's kind of a different level of what it means to have clutter than if we lived in like a really old building where everything was a bit run down, and then somehow there's a certain allowance of like what could be like looking shabby or something like that. But here everything's like super all slick, and the second there's like one thing out of place, you're like, looks kind of.
And you're saying it's because of the newness of the building.
I think that the way this building looks, like also the materials and stuff, it's like quite chic, like quite chic, like and it kind of calls for that in a way, a bit of neatness that it just becomes difficult with 10 people, 12, however many people, because it's just everyone has a different perception of that, and that's what I think was over the years, understanding like, okay, yeah, it's not like a malicious thing that this person is doing. It's just like they don't really see it as a problem maybe at all. Like, oh, so what are you talking about? It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's just me.
Yeah, people are coming here from so many different places. So there's places like, cultures, places, but also experiences. So I think it would be helpful to have some kind of here's what the expectations are.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's something that has to be decided. Yep.
But I also somehow don't like that either. I mean, I kind of it gets back to the thing where where another thing my parents told me was, both my parents told me this, was to lead by example. Like, not to like try to tell people what to do, but if you just do something and maybe others see it and say, that's nice. But then I have to like understand that there's also the point where you can do it, and then when someone sees it and like, it's nice when he does it, but I'm never going to do that. So, but that's just what happens, and then I just got to be okay with it.
What have you learned from your experience here
I think that's the important part of this sort of little universe idea. There's the guy that comes and looks through the garbage for something that maybe is of a value or something like that, and maybe you see him a few times, and then maybe you say hi to him, or maybe he says hi to you or something, and then you start to see how, like, this sort of, in this universe, like the guy who's digging through the trash, you maybe get to know his name or something like that, because you're kind of always like it's a very dense universe, the Moos universe, and through this density you kind of get this close encounters with all the different levels of the universe. And I think that's important to understand and get comfortable in a bigger universe where there's also a lot of people, and like it's, of course it's a different when it's a different scale, but it's still, it's like a representation, I think, and I think that's the kind of interesting thing about it, like to get comfortable with many different aspects in that you will be confronted with throughout your life. I mean, that's...
And you feel like this was hard for you before, and now you mean it's sort of easier now that you had all this experience living in this density and having to come to terms or become comfortable with, like...
Well, it's not the first co-living thing, bigger kind of thing that I've been in, where I've been in kind of situations like this before, not this, but this one's also quite specific, because it's quite, there's more levels, I guess, more layers somehow.
Yeah.
More people. Although not all of them are co-living, so it's like, that's also this other thing. You have the co-living situation that people are kind of almost like 24/7, like around the clock, like never leaving. And then there's people that, work here during the day and then leave, and then that's also another character in this universe.
Where can people find out more about you?
There's the CeciFoundation.com.
CeciFoundation.com.
Yeah. Mainly projects that Joe and I have done together.
Great to chat with you, Travis. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.